So this is just so that you can see what's happening, maybe in case your group isn't able to show you quite this well when you're doing the lab. All of the numbers from your group are what you should be using. I'm just going to kind of show you here what is happening and maybe give you a better idea of where some of those elements of error could work themselves in to what we're doing here. So the first step was to clean our flask, which just meant put a little bit of distilled water in there. Try and make sure that there's no acid left in here from the last group. And I don't think I got any water on the outside. That is now clean and the outside is dry. And then the next step was to record the starting point on the burette. And this is something that the post-lab questions would ask about. What if we recorded this value and then before we managed to start our titration, what if that dripped a little bit out, like onto the paper, before we actually started our titration? So that, for context, we'd record that number very precisely, and then we'd be working on getting this nice clean Erlenmeyer with some acid in it. Wants us to measure 10 milliliters. So we're gonna go ahead and do that. This is another place where your post-lab questions are gonna kind of have you analyze what would happen if I measure out exactly 10 milliliters here, and then as I'm trying to pour it, trying to get that meniscus exactly at 10.0. I'm happy with that. And then as I'm trying to pour this in here, I unknowingly pour some out of here, maybe even just a drip ends up outside of my flask. What would happen to our results if I had a little bit less acid than what I was expecting? Then it has us put a few of these phenolphthalein drops in there, and then measure out about 30 milliliters of water and put that in. This isn't something I asked you to analyze, or isn't really a source of error, because it's not going to be part of the reaction. It's just there to help things mix better. So now everything is all set up. We've got our solution here, nice and clear. I'll put this underneath our burette, and then I'm going to reposition y'all just a little bit so you can see this as I swirl and titrate. So let me see if I can get it focused any better. Yeah, that's nice. Okay, so I'm going to turn this so it starts coming out. You can see that pink color in there a little bit, but it's going away pretty quick. Our base is neutralizing with that acid. So when the base goes in, it indicates there's a base by turning pink, but it's instantly neutralized because there's acid down there. Now, I'm gonna try and do this the best I can. I saw that pink smear on the side. I wanted to incorporate that here. So let's get that going again. Get it to swirl. As that adds in, turn that so the label gets out of the way. And it's getting pinker and pinker, so I'm going to slow this down. Okay, good. Did not go past our end point. Going to get this set up and dripping. Kind of slower. And I'll slow that down and have my hand on that more regularly. And this is about as slow as I can drip it in. So as I see this start to turn more and more pink, I will add less and less. I will slow this down. Yeah, that's starting to... pink color is staying around. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 13, 14, 15, 16, 18, 19, 20. I'm starting, can kind of sort of see a little pink in there. It might have lasted 20 seconds. That might be the right end point, but I'm going to try and add one more drop here. See if maybe that, went on the side of my beaker. Back in frame. Yeah. I think that pink color is going to stick around. Let's see. So this one drop that I've been adding has barely been changing our volume, but if that can get this pink color to stay around just a little bit longer, that'll be a better end point. There we go. One more drop. Yeah, look at how dark that pink goes. I think this will probably stay around. Yeah, that's gonna stick around. And I went from a light pink color to this really, really dark pink with just a single drop. So I know that I am right at that equivalence point when that graph that we saw in the gizmo and that we saw in our podcast was the steepest. We know that that pH can change a whole lot with a very, very small volume. So this is what we were doing a couple of times, and hopefully getting results just as good as this one out. So hope it helps.